So today you are going to be learning about market segmentation. We are moving on to lesson 1.4. So last lesson you learned was all about target markets. So the learning objective for today is to identify the 5 bases of segmentation. And market segmentation is the process of identifying groups of consumers based on their common needs. Segmentation is the first step toward understanding consumer groups as it assists in determining target markets, the marketing mix, and developing positioning strategies. Segmentation is important because it allows businesses to customize their marketing mix and strategies to meet the needs of the target market. So there are 5 bases for market segmentation. The first is demographic, the second is product, the third is psychographic, the fourth is benefits, and fifth is geographic. And I'll be going into each of these into detail in the upcoming slides. So going into demographics first. So all of the segments, sorry, I guess I got a little ahead of myself. All of the segments revolve around the consumer and the target market, and they base off of each other. So now I will go into each of those individually. So the first base for market segmentation is demographic segmentation, and this focuses on information that can be measured. So that, for example, is your age, income, occupation, gender, and education. And then I will just go into some examples of each of those. So starting off with age, an example of this is that fans of the PGA and LPGA tours tend to be among the baby boomer age demographic, which is 45 to 64, according to the data from Scarborough Sports Marketing. Another example for when it comes to age is, according to KnowledgeBase.com, the biggest demographic for the artist Shakira is 20-year-old women. So you have that gender that you can measure as well as the age that you can measure, which we're focusing on age on this one, sorry. Another age example is that the world champion, so number 1 in the world, and 17 national tennis champion and performance coach Bob Litwin penned a blog post recommending a demographic rarely targeted by sporting gear manufacturers, baby boomers, and his rationale is that baby boomers want to stay fit, feel younger, and have fun. So here's just a little bit more expanded on that. I'd like to see a sports manufacturer like Nike, Adidas, or Babolat create an influencer marketing campaign where players 60 and over can share their stories about growing younger through fitness. Boomers are growing at a faster rate than all other age groups combined, and they outspend other generations by an estimated $400 billion per year. With healthcare plummeting and old age knocking at our doors, it is time to create an influencer marketing campaign that shows baby boomers defeating aging, getting fit, and living brand new stories. All right, so that was all about age, and now we're going into income. So since 2000, the number of NASCAR fans earning $100,000 or more has doubled from 7% to 16% of its fan base, and those with incomes of $50,000 or more has risen from 35% to 48%. So the average income of NASCAR fans is increasing. So they have wealthier fans now. Another example of this is that according to league data, the average household income for NHL fans is $104,000, highest of the four major sports, with Major League Baseball $96,200, and the NBA $96,000, and the NFL at $94,500. So NHL has the highest level income fans for all of those different national leagues. This is more of a household statistic, which I didn't really go into, but a household statistic is also a common demographic data point. So according to a report from Leichtman Research Group, 69% of households in the US have at least one high-definition television set, which is up from 17% in 2006. And then another household statistic is that a survey by CNBC has found that half of all American households own at least one Apple device, and the average Apple buying household has a total of 3. Okay, moving on in the different types of demographic segmentation to occupation. Scarborough Research released demographic figures relating to fans of the IndyCar, suggesting that 29% of the fan base were blue collar, while 37% were white collar. Moving on to gender as the demographic segmentation. According to a report released in 2013 by the Entertainment Software Association, or ESA, 45% of the entire gamer or video game playing community are women, and they comprise 46% of the most frequent video game purchasers. I always find that statistic interesting because I personally am not a gamer. I'm not really into that, and I feel like most of my students I see playing games are males, so I just thought that was an interesting statistic. Another gender-based demographic is that according to data from Scarborough Sports Marketing, published in a 2011 issue of Sports Business Journal, fans of MMA are 78% male and 22% female. This statistic makes sense to me personally. The last gender-based demographic segmentation. Target retail stores understand that 60% of their shoppers are women and likely play a significant role in their decision to sponsor the 2014 ASAP Women's Surfing event in Maui. So because they knew that most of their demographic and target market is women, they decided to sponsor a women's surfing event. Okay, so moving on then to the education segment of demographic segmentation. Another statistic, 68% of NHL fans have attended college. Continuing on with that education segment, AAA Baseball posts its demographic information online for prospective sponsors to review. And 40% of the fan base earns $46,000 to $75,000 per year in salary. 42% of the fan base has an undergraduate degree. 91% of the fan base has a major credit card, and 69% of the fan base owns their own home. I would argue that some of that is not just education, but also household statistics as well. All right, I'm going to stop this video, ask you some questions, and then we will continue on with the other types of segmentation, those other main bases. So we just got into demographics right now, and we'll be going through some questions.